Hi, this is Michael DeSilva from New Hunter Church of Christ. We're going to talk about addictions today and ways on how to proof your home or business so that people don't have access to the things that they're addicted to. We're going to talk about porn. We're going to talk about alcoholism. We're going to talk about drugs. We're going to talk about videos, kiddie porn. We're going to talk about child molestation. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff today because all these things under the umbrella are all addictions. But all these things people can get help from. Okay, there is a way out. Okay, the way out first is always and foremost is through prayer, having a good support group or base, meaning with the family, friends, real friends that you can trust, neighbors, even family members, aunts, uncles, grandparents, so forth. People who you can trust, who know how to help the person to be like a tool, like an outreach, someone who they can go to, confide in, but not someone who they can conspire with to get videos from off the internet, or to get alcohol for them, because they may go to another family member and ask them, "Hey, can you download this porn for me off of this site? I can't do it." Because they're not supposed to be doing it anyway. Or, can you go get access, can you go get me some alcohol so I can drink it, or go get me some meth, or no, you don't want to enable the person to have access to the vice. Or, can you go to this somebody to go get this child pornography for me? And you don't want to be doing that because you'll be an accessory to crime and you'll go to jail and you'll be a sex offender too. So you don't want to be doing stuff like this because this could get you in trouble as well with some of these things. So don't be trying to help your family by enabling them to their addiction, to the vice that's in their life, is what I'm saying. Instead, what you need to do is be a guide. Help them to steer away from that stuff. Encourage them. Help them to stay close in their Bible reading and devotional reading time and prayer life with God. That's key to overcoming any of these devices that we talked about. And having a one-on-one relationship with Christ. I mean, that's the foremost thing that we teach in a Christian counseling curriculum program. That's what they teach in many of them across the nation in churches and places where they do Christian help centers for women and men, because they do have that now for both men and women. Statistically, women look at porn just as much as men do. Statistically, women prey on children just as much as men do, even though they don't talk about it. They always want to say, men are always the ones that do all this stuff. When yet, really, it's the women that do it just as much. It's just they're a little more sneakier about it, but they still do it. And the thing is, it does come out. It always does. And it will. And it's just like people going around spying up the skirts and short, long skirts and dresses of women and teenagers in the stores. People, that's another form of porn. It's something they could do. They think they're getting away with it, so they get a high on it until they get caught. Like these 4 men we just know, and there's probably a lot more people out there doing it, just haven't been caught. But they still are putting it up the skirts of women. They got it on the internet. I know it's on there. I don't look at it, but I know it's on there. I mean, they have every kind of thing on there about sex that's wrong, and that's the reason why the country is so sexually hungry, because that garbage is on there, and why a lot more of this stuff is going on with kids and with adults and things that should not normally be going on. Like it says, it will be mass hysteria, like in Revelation, towards the end of the world. That's what it's talking about, this disordered, chaotic behavior. So how do you overcome all this stuff? Well, you have to first acknowledge and say, hey, I'm a sinner, because we all are fallen. We're all broken people. If controlling is a problem with you, you need to address it. Say, I'm controlling. I like to boss people around too much. I'm not perfect. I got to stop blaming people for my faults and making myself look perfect when really I'm the cause. The same is true with porn or alcohol or opiates or heroin, because I had some problem with that too, with some people living over here, and that's why they had to leave. And so it's a problem. And so, but how we deal with this and how we go about it and how we handle it from that day on, because all these problems can be stopped by constantly, telling ourselves, hey, I want to be a better man. I want to be a better father. I want to be a better parent. I want to be a better mother, or I want to be a better teenager. I want to be a better son or daughter, etc., etc. A preacher. I should not be doing this type of behavior because it's not something that I should be doing. It's not something that I should be in or be associated with. So, and then you have to go and keep saying that to yourself. It's kind of like a self-check. If you've already gone through a program, do the other things that they tell you to do. If you start having problems, keep a journal. You're supposed to keep a journal and document every day of what you do. And if you start having regression or temptations or impulses or triggers, then you need to go back into counseling immediately and talk to them so you can get help. Okay? But threatening people with coarse words and saying things you're going to do stuff to them when yet they're really trying to help you, really, is the wrong way to go about it. Because a lot of times families, have to help, because if you stay silent, nothing gets done. A lot of people will just go to get along and say, oh yeah, we got an alcoholic in our family. Oh yeah, we got a porn person in our family, or whatever the temptation is. Or we got a heroin user, but yeah, we'll just stay quiet and maybe it'll all just go away. Well, it don't go away. No, it doesn't. Because they keep relapsing because they really didn't get all the help they needed or really didn't go through all the program. And that's why they're relapsing. And of course it's going to happen anyway because it's part of the sickness. See, a person, when they have any type of addiction of any kind, whether it's child pedophilia, whether it's drinking, whether it's drugs, of any kind, or whether it's pornography, or any variation of pornography, they're all the same results. There's always denial, plausibility, lie, and inversion. Well, I didn't do it. No, he did it. He or she did this. Oh no, he's lying. But they always like to turn it around and say the other person is lying, or there's something wrong with their mind, or there's something wrong with them, and so they don't understand why they're lying about me, when really they're not lying. It's just that they don't want to tell the truth. So they'll lie a lot and manipulate, and they may use force. They may get real aggressive, but this is what people do when they have addictive behavior problems. It's part of withdrawing. It's part of regressing. It's called patternal addiction behavior. That's what they call it in practice. Okay? And so people will go through these stages or, physiologies or patterns, and where they'll have good spells for a while, and then they'll gradually slip back into the drinking or the smoking, the alcohol, smoking the alcohol, drinking or smoking the joint or drug of choice, heroin, or would it be opium, or whatever, or cigarettes, or or even watching pornography, or or watching children, child pornography, or whatever their sickness or animal or bestiality or whatever their problem is, or their temptation or their black place where they should not be. They'll be looking at things they shouldn't do, and then all of a sudden they'll be fully doing it, and it'll start with just seeing it. It'll start with smelling it second, and then it'll go to actually really doing it. Watching it on the computer if it's porn, or actually really drinking it, the drug or the alcohol, or the cigarette. And then actually they'll be with a real child and really be doing the crime, but with a real child of somebody's. And that's what we don't want. Or even drinking alcohol, or even smoking a joint, or even doing, opiate or heroin even, or methamphetamines. That's a big epidemic here in Mechanicsville and Ashland, everywhere. Richmond, Henrico. It's a problem everywhere. And so we got to, what caused all this stuff? All the borders being open. Nobody does nothing to all these drug people that come in. And now we got more coming in over the border that are unfettered. And so now the problem's gotten even a lot worse since 20 years ago. It was always an issue, but now it's really bad. And we did a lot of this to ourselves because of the lack of border security and lack of backgrounds. You want solutions. How we stop a lot of these wars and drug problems with these dangerous criminals coming into our country is by how you stop it. Don't let them come in the first place. That's how you stop it. Put up 90 days to 160-day bans on worse violent countries, where they're having the highest problems with killing and all. Don't bring those people here or anywhere in the world. Stop it. You're destroying your own country by doing these bad, stupid policies. Not just America, but Europe too. All of you. Y'all doing the same crap. Stop it. Stop drinking your Kool-Aid. Start looking at the facts, people. Let's do some real solutions as governments, together, working together. We don't need no new world order to really do this as an alliance, as nations. We can do this just as independent nations, and we can do it with our own governments, like have been doing it all along. We don't have to join forces and have a national, alliance, world global alliance. We don't need that. Because one justice does not fit all. I'm going to tell you, justice does not fit all when you do that. And what ends up happening is a lot of innocent people end up getting killed because of that. And, and a lot of people's families get destroyed because of that. Too much control, too much corruption. That's what happens with a worldwide government or worldwide new world order system. And that's what we don't want. So what I'm trying to say is too much power goes into a few hands. And those few hands become very corrupt. And then all of a sudden, all that power goes in only one hand. That's the Antichrist in the end anyway. Because all those few hands will get killed, 120-some people. They know it because they're working for the devil. They got their hand all in it. Illuminati, whatever you want to call it. They're working for the Illuminati, Luminum, that's what I call it. They're illuminating themselves to hell. But, if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. But the thing is, we got to get back to this addiction thing. I'm kind of going off task, but really I said some valid points. But we need to stop the problems in our country and the worldwide, because this is an epidemic globally. With the heroin, with the pornography, in all development countries, there are problems just like this in Europe or in England or London. There are child molesters in those places too. There are women who molest children in those places, just like there are here in America, just like men do it. There are women and men that watch pornography on the internet. There are women and men that are shining video up people's skirts or up men's shorts, or trying to get a shot of them in the toilet. Men and women are doing this, not just the men, too. So that's all countries, not just America. So, but what I'm trying to say, the way we're going to stop is start the solution. How do you do it? You can't lock everybody up, but how you do it is you have better resources out there for both women and men. There's thousands of resources out there for women. But if you go to look for something for men, there's not too much stuff out there. So I think that's where we need to start, is have more crisis centers for men too, that come from abused, violent, broken homes, because women beat up on men just like men beat up on women. They both do it. So there needs to be counseling programs for the men too. We need to have equal rights for both men and women in regards where we both value each other the same, because we are the same. The only thing that separates us is gender. That's it. But pretty much our bodies are we bleed when we die, we have hearts, we have lungs. We need to start thinking that both sexes really need equal opportunity. Okay, we need to look at it that way. When it comes to violence, when it comes to addiction, the impulses are the same for both men and women. When it comes to crime of any kind, the impulses are still the same when it comes to men and women. Okay, statistically, they're all the same. Okay, and this stuff they don't even talk about. There's a lot of women in prison all across the country, just like there are a lot of men in prison for all kinds of crimes. Okay, so that and it's like this all around the world. So you can't sit there and say that men do more crime than women, because I don't know. That's on the rise. More women are going in prison now. So I don't think it's just like they're rounding up women and putting them in there. No. And they're not doing that to men either. Because we got women in there that are all colors, just like we got men that are all colors and races. So you can't say it's all the black people or a certain race profile. No, it's every profile. Because as long as you're able to do a crime, you're going to do it. And color and race and background has nothing to do with it. It's what you decide to do as an impulse. Just like these addictions we're talking about. We'll go back to that because that's what we're really talking about. The solution is to get real help and really to accept that help. And once you accept that help, then you can go on and have a better life. Now, does that mean that you're going to be fully well and not regress? Absolutely not. You're going to regress sometimes because it's a patternal behavior. It's a psychological behavior. And when people have addictions, their brains are just not wired. That's what I said to a cop, because it's true. And he said the same thing. That people just aren't wired right in the head. Their adrenaline cortex is wired wrong. They've been fed all these images in their head by watching them on the internet, and TV and tablets or phones or whatever they're watching it on. And the same is true with, the same with drugs. Drugs have the same effect. the luring effect, and wanting it, craving it, and wanting it more, and the relapse to get more because of the high and just the fix of it. Well, the same is true with porn. The same is true with child pedophilia. The same is true with adult pedophilia. The same is true with all this horrible stuff. Okay? So, it is a patternal psychological type of behavior. So what we have to realize is that, hey, you're not alone because there's other people out there like that. So it's good to get in one of these good, rock-solid Christian groups where your support group. It's not crazy people. Crazy people don't go to support groups. The ones who are crazy are the ones that don't go. Because, see, they're there to help you. That's why they're called support groups. So it doesn't matter what kind of addiction that you may have. If you're recovered, you should stay in a support group. You should always be in one. Because they can give you, that's a good resource outlet to get more help if you're having a problem with an issue of any kind of addiction. Any of them that we talked about. Whatever it is. Okay? That's why they're out there. You can connect with people that are like you, that can support you to pull you up out of that. So you don't fall right back on your face back in it again. Whatever that is. Okay? That's why there are support groups. So anyone that is a reformed, recovered from anything, whether it's dope, whether it's smoking, whether it's heroin, whether it's methamphetamines, whether it's opiates, whether it's child porn, whether it's adult porn, whether it's pedophilia, whether it's whatever it is, did I miss any? Oh, alcohol, whether it's cigarettes, whatever your vice is, whatever your fix is, having sex with animals. Some people are into that. Sick. All of it's sick, really. It's gross. But what I'm saying is you shouldn't be, see, if you were wired right, you wouldn't want to be gay. Because that could also be an addiction behavior. Of course, a lot of times they don't classify it like that, but it is. Because normally we're designed to have sex with the opposite sex. Preferably a woman and a man if you're a woman. Not two women or two men, or a dog and a man, or a cat and a woman. No, or a horse and a man or a woman. No, it's supposed to be a man and a woman. Then they say, if you're going after the same sex, then that could be an addiction behavior too. Because you're going after something that is not of the natural origin of what God set up, deemed, or classified to be. So, all this stuff goes all under the same umbrella. Okay, if you really look at it, because it is an addiction, impulse drive behavior. And, there's all kinds of excuses out there. Oh, well, maybe they put it in the water. Maybe they put it in the air. Well, they might. Maybe they are putting it in the food. Maybe they are. But there are other things you can take to counteract those things, like detoxing things, natural herbal supplements that can flush your body out every now and then. So, you get the fluoride out of your body, start taking iodine. Okay? That'll get all that bad stuff out of your body. It'll flush it out. You'll pee and poop it out. Or it'll come out through your pores. It comes out everywhere when you take iodine, real iodine, natural iodine. But what I'm telling you, that's what will make you healthier. And I'm not going to say it's not going to get rid of your addiction craving or your drive. No, you're going to have to rely on God to help, because only God can truly deliver you from it. You can go to all the programs in the world. You can go to Origins. That's one of the best programs in the country. Not just by Dr. Phil, but a lot of people in professions recognize that program. It's recommended worldwide. But the thing is, it's thousands of dollars, but even people, they still fall. They still backslid because it's psychological. It's going to happen every once in a while. But how you deal with it is whether you fall back into it again. It's how you go about it so you don't fall back into it, okay? So you shouldn't get mad at people who are trying to help you in the family, who are reaching out to help you so you don't end up doing something to yourself. Or maybe changing your life because you end up getting locked up because of what you're doing. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Because even with these addictions, there are consequences that make you behave in ways that you should not behave. Or act in ways that you should not act. So, part of the addiction part can cause that as a mechanism. Okay? So it's very important to understand this stuff. So if you need to rewind this stuff, you can rewind it and refer back to it. This is Michael DeSolis from New Hunter Church of Christ, preacher and evangelist and a counselor. A real counselor that deals with real issues that are really going on right outside our doorstep. A lot of ministry work out there, folks. I love you all. Take care. Michael DeSolis from New Hunter Church of Christ. We have a lot of work to do, preachers.